We are at a crossroads for public education in Oregon. In the past 2 decades, Oregon's immigrant population has more than doubled and is now 10% of our population. This same percentage of students are currently learning English in our public schools. In other words, 1 out of every 10 students is not proficient in the English language and is prevented from creating meaningful relationships with their English-speaking peers and is missing out on full participation in our state's excellent public schools.
Public education in the United States needs to be applied fairly and equitably to all students in our public schools. Even though the U.S. does not technically have an official language, we do have a de facto national language, and that language is American English. Our government documents are written in it, our entertainments are steeped in it, and our schools overwhelmingly teach it. The world is transitioning from a multitude of languages to just a few international ones where English is dominant. It is already spoken by 500 million people as their native language. It is spoken in over 100 countries, the most of any language. It is the official language in over 30 countries, and it is by far the most common studied foreign language in the world, with a staggering 1.5 billion speakers. Therefore, for educational purposes, it is beneficial for students to have mastery of the national and international standards. Students will be more likely to understand a commonly spoken language, and there will be a greater abundance of teachers able to teach in a common language. Learning English instead of a minor or regional language opens students up to a wider world of experiences and also increases their opportunities for future employment. Today, in segregated classrooms, bilingual education keeps immigrant children from learning English, shutting those children out from future good-paying jobs because they lack the ability to speak English with customers, co-workers, and employers. One of the biggest problems with bilingual education is that there is little to no proof that early exit bilingual programs have an appreciable positive effect on a student's educational future. Bilingual education has only been shown to be effective over the course of a student's entire academic career. In a public school setting, that means bilingual education for 13 years. Bilingual initiatives can also be very costly. They require hiring bilingual teachers, creating bilingual curriculum, creating tests in the targeted languages, and buying different textbooks for these students. All of this adds expenses to schools whose budgets are already stretched thin. Additionally, there has to be a sufficient number of students who speak the same language in order to fill up a bilingual classroom. Immersive classrooms, on the other hand, can include speakers of several different languages. The fact of the matter is that not all of our English language learners show up on that first day speaking Spanish. Represented in our immigration numbers are speakers of many different dialects of Chinese and Hindi and Vietnamese, just to name a few. All in all, English language learner students in the U.S. speak more than 450 languages. If bilingual education was to be applied equitably to all students in the United States, each and every school and school district would have to implement an extreme overhaul of their entire curriculum every time a new English language learner moves to town. Studies have clearly shown that students who are immersed in English-only classrooms and schools reach a functional level of English usage that just as quickly as students who spend their first few years in bilingual classrooms. English-only education is equitable, it's effective, and it just makes sense. Consistency and exposure are both vital when learning a second language. We can best serve our students and our teachers by mandating that all instruction in Oregon classrooms happens in English and only English. Voting yes on Proposition 222 will ensure we teach English to our children in public schools as rapidly, as effectively, and as equitably as possible. We must remain an English-speaking nation in order to be united as one people. English is the language of opportunity in the world today. People all over the world are learning English so they can enjoy economic and social opportunity. Shouldn't the focus of our public school learning be exclusively on English? Yes, it should. And this is why we believe you should vote yes on Proposition 222.